Hello again, rugby fans, and welcome along to another Rugby World Cup squad discussion. This time is with a team that I was going to do a week or so ago, a week or 10 days ago, and then calamity happened. It all went absolute pear-shaped for the squad of Wales. Now, Wales has their chances of winning or getting very far, getting out of their pool even, gone down the toilet with the loss of a couple of key players. Wow, what a week leading up, or a couple of weeks leading up to the Rugby World Cup it has been for Wales, losing, the iconic Lee Halfpenny and such an exciting player like Rhys Webb out of their World Cup campaign, and that has changed the whole landscape of Pool A for Wales. They've made a lot of changes. Even their cover changes have gone injured as well. So they've made double changes, which is absolutely absurd to think something has changed that much. The replacement coming in, Eli Walker, eventually getting dropped from the squad again. Now he's got injured again. So 3 players out injured since the announcement of their team at the end of August by Warren Gatland. Boy, is he under pressure, to find a squad just about that's going to perform. He needs to get out of his pool, and he needs a squad to do it. Has he got that squad? Well, we're going to take a look through it today and see what I think about this team, whether I think Wales have got it in them to get out of the pool ahead of either England or Australia. So let's kick things off once again at the top with the hookers, and Wales have gone with just 2 hookers, which is pretty interesting given the whole debate, 3 hookers, 2 hookers. A lot have gone with 3, a lot have gone with 2. We will find out post-World Cup who really is getting the last laugh over this whole hooker number. The old school way was 3 hookers and 3 halfbacks straight off the whistle, or 3 scrum halves, before you even think about it. But now, teams are developing and changing. So Wales have gone with Scott Baldwin and Ken Owens. Ken Owens, not horrifically experienced, but, 29 caps. The man from Scarlets will lead as the most capped hooker in the squad. Scott Baldwin has been pretty active in the squad recently as well from Ospreys. 10 caps, both fairly young as well, and if they keep up their good form, could see themselves in another World Cup, possibly, if things go their way. So 2 hookers, is that the right amount? Is it not the right amount? It's been an age-old debate with these squads. Is 2 or is 3 the right number? Australia bucked the trend first, and teams have followed that, rightly or wrongly. We will find out. It comes down to injuries and cover, and fitness is the key thing for these hookers, with both of them having to be in the match day 23 regardless of opposition. So that's another easy debatable thing, as a few teams have gone that way. But into their partners in the front row, the props, and this is where there's a couple of contentious little selections. The ones they've gone with here, the 5, is Thomas Francis, Paul James, Aaron Jarvis, Guthrie Jenkins, and Samson Lee. So we'll kick things off with Samson Lee. I'm a pretty big fan of Samson Lee. I think he's quite a good player, very young, very impactful as well, but carrying the injury. Is he going to be fully fit? When can he be able to play? Questions being asked about that already. Paul James, experience along with Guthrie Jenkins, the man from Cardiff Blues with 116 caps, the only man in the squad to be in the triple figures. Questions asked about where Rob Evans and Scott Andrews are in this team, but I think maybe the exception of the Exeter Chiefs, Thomas Francis, I think this is definitely the best front row options for Wales. James, Jenkins and Lee, I think definite front runners for those starting spots. Lee, when he's fit, should be definitely there or thereabouts, possibly one of the ones off the bench as well with Jarvis. I think Francis might see some team time against the weaker teams, but I think that's pretty much the 5 you'd want, at least 4 of the 5 that you definitely want there, no questions about that. And you have to rely on Gatland, that he's picked the right as number 5 behind youth is a big part, and getting that experience into Francis is pretty key, for the squad going forward. We move quickly into the second rowers, as there's not too much to debate about in this team so far. You've got 5 locks in the squad, 3 of them based outside of Welsh clubs. Jake Ball from Scarlets, very good. I'm another big fan of Jake Ball. Luke Charteris, Bradley Davies, Dominic Day and Alan Wynne-Jones. Now, Alan Wynne-Jones, of course, no question about him whatsoever. Bradley Davies, Luke Charteris, again, no question whatsoever. Jake Ball as well. Probably the biggest call would be Dominic Day, the man from Bath, into the squad. Just 2 caps. I think that's a decent pick as well. He's experienced and he's quite an explosive player, strong ball carrier as well. Davies, of course, from Wasps, and then Charteris from Racing as well. I think that's good second rowers. I don't have any problem. And anyone I think I'd prefer to see there in their second row. So no questions whatsoever for the second rowers. I think their whole forward pack, to be completely honest, is probably exactly what you'd want to see there as a Welsh fan. Do let me know if you are a Welsh fan, if you would pick anyone different here for the squad or even the forward pack as well. As we move ourselves straight into the flankers, and they have gone here with 6 back rowers. Now, not many teams have done this, but this is a roundabout way of the cover against Lee Halfpenny. Now, Lee Halfpenny got dropped, and then they called up Eli Walker, who then got injured. Halfpenny got injured, then Walker got injured, obviously, and then they picked up probably a man who a lot of people felt was unlucky to miss out on the initial squad, but that's Ross Moriarty, the 21-year-old flanker from Gloucester. Now, if you've seen much of this man, you know he's a very, very young, raw, hard-running ball, just smashing. He is a really good-looking prospect for Wales. It's good to see him in there. Interesting that they've effectively dropped one of their back 3 for another flanker. But really, I guess it's just been the next best player available, and Gatlin obviously presuming he's going to need more cover in his back row. He's got the experience here with a few players. We'll go through the 6 that have been named. James King, one of 3 Ospreys flankers, the 25-year-old, just 6 caps, but a good prospect for the future as well, coming into the team. Dan Lydiard, experience, good to see him there. Justin Tipperick again, those 2 key. Ross Moriarty, good prospect for the future, just like King as well. Sam Warburton, the captain and leader of this Welsh squad. And of course, Toby Faletau will near on his 50 caps for his country when he runs out in the World Cup. Just 2 away from his big 5-0. But plenty of experience there. Lydia and Tipperick, 47, 33 caps. And, you know, those 2 are, you know, so key together. Ospreys teammates, you know, they know how each other's game plays, and that advantages them very well. Good players together, decent age as well. They could see them see another Rugby World Cup. Warburton, he needs to stay fit. 26, he's definitely got another World Cup in him. He is such a key exponent for Wales. Toby Faletau, the only out-and-out number 8 in this team. 48 caps, as I mentioned. Big opportunity for him to really assert, you know, his form of a couple of years ago where he was such a big part of this Welsh pack. He has not been as dominant recently, but he'll look to come back, and this is a great chance. He is just 24. Can you believe he's just 24? You know, he's got another 2 World Cups in him. 32-year-old number 8 is not unheard of at all. I love this back row for Wales. Key players, you know, Lydia, Tipperick, Warburton, Faletau. They're your key. That's where 3 of your 4 are going to come from those. 4, I should say. So your 3 starters will come out of those 4. Lydia, Tipperick, Warburton and Faletau. But look at their ages, 27, 26, 26 and 24. That is the key for Wales now and future. That is what they need to really pressure forward. And you know, if you get the likes of Moriarty coming in as well, 21, James King, is he going to be a man of the future? This is such a good-looking back row for Wales now and in the future if they can keep this core group together and on form. So we move out of the forwards and we go to our back line, and we start with the scrum halves where there's been the topsy-turvies. Of course, Reece Webb injured. He's out for the World Cup. A bit of a loss. Rhys Webb, a very sharp player and quite a spark to this Welsh backline as well. He is out. Mike Phillips, of course, almost one of the best Welsh players from 2011 Rugby World Cup, is back in the team. 94 caps for Phillips. He is just 29, fallen out of favour recently. Poor form and the like, seeing him not initially selected for the team, the man from Russing, but he's back in the frame now, and it's between him and Gareth Davies and Lloyd Williams, the three scrum halves selected. Which of those three will start? I think Rhys Webb had quite a good advantage ahead of him, but Davies has only played 4 matches for Wales. Phillips is the experience. Lloyd Williams has been there for a year or so now as well. 19 caps for a couple of years' work. He's right up there. Is he the next cab off the rank, or does the experience of Phillips come in? Do they try Phillips to see if he's got the form and the touch that they need from their scrum halves, or do they look to the initial players selected? That is the big call. Who's going to make the way there? Your guess is as good as mine, but I think surely they'll probably look to Williams to start off with, but I think if they have an easy match for a start, which they do against Uruguay, I think they'll put Phillips in. And they'll put Phillips in and see if he's up to it. If he performs, you could see him starting the big matches over Williams and Davies there. So it's going to be key. That first match for Phillips is massive for him going forward as well. Into the fly halves, we've got 2 here selected for Wales. Dan Biggar, Reece Priestland, no question there. Both 35 caps. Both, the mainstays of Wales' number 10 jumpers. You can't question that at all. So we move quickly on. There's not much to discuss there at all. No questions about who is in that number 10 position. The centres, just 3 selected, which is kind of interesting, but you look at the rest of the back 3 here, and you can see that they can cover each other if necessary. But Corey Allen, Jamie Roberts, and Scott Williams, you like the looks of Roberts and Williams, will be the key starters for these match. Corey Allen, just 22 years of age, only 3 caps for the man from Cardiff. Big chance for him to impress on the world stage. He'll get chances as well. You possibly see him in their opening match against Uruguay, maybe with Williams outside him. You don't want to risk Roberts too early. I think he's going to be a massive part of this Welsh squad in the real nitty-gritty season, if they can get out of their pool. England, Australia, you'll see Roberts and Williams at 12 and 13. 70 caps for Roberts, 32 for Scott Williams from Scarlets. Key. Scott Williams only 24 as well, which is massive for the future of Welsh rugby. They're going to be there in the future as well. Corey Allen and Scott Williams. That's massive. And just 3 centres. I think that's all you need. Maybe possibly you'll see one of these outside backs covering as well. So we'll have a look at them now, and it's Hallam Amos who's the first one, just 20 years old. Just 20 years old. His birthday will be during the World Cup. How freakish is that? Hope it all goes well for him on his birthday as well. The others selected, Alex Cuthbert, George North, Liam Williams, and Matthew Morgan, just 23. Have a look at these ages here, guys, of these outside backs. Amos, 20, Cuthbert, 25, North, 23. 23. George North is such an iconic player in world rugby. He's just 23. Unbelievable. Liam Williams, 24. And of course, as I mentioned, Matthew Morgan, 23. Now, I know a few of you guys out there are fans of Matthew Morgan coming in to the squad and felt that he should be one of them in the 31 men. So good for you guys picking, quite a left field selection as well. Whether he'll be up to it, I hope he gets some chances without Halfpenny in there as well, who will start at fullback against England. What do you think? Is it going to be Morgan that starts there, or will they look to use one of the outside backs like Liam Williams, who possibly could start at fullback for Wales against these big matches as well? Experience is pretty big through here. The likes of Cuthbert, 35 caps. North, of course, the youngest man with 50 caps. He's on 51. And Liam Williams, I'd say, will be their first choice fullback with 23. The man from Scarlets. Wales, that is their 31 squad as selected from Warren Gatlin. Plenty of experience in this team. It's good to see a lot of players who are over the whole 50 cap kind of thing. Players who are unlucky to miss out. there's not really too many, I don't think. The likes of Christian Dacey out with injury, the hooker. Could have he been selected in here? I think they've gone with the two best options. If they went for a third, he could have been in the running if he was not injured. Or was that the injury that forced their hand in selecting just two hookers? Gareth Anscombe, a lot of talk over him missing out on this team as well as a fly half, especially when Halfpenny went down. A lot of media thought that was the invitation for Anscombe, who is actually still nursing an injury as well, but to be in the squad. A very accomplished fullback is Anscombe, with his time playing rugby here in New Zealand for the Blues in Super Rugby and the Chiefs later on. He's still not in the mix, despite all the injuries, which must be a real kick in the guts for him after transferring over there with the promise or the dream of a World Cup berth. He's missed out. Will we see him in the future? Do Wales have to go through yet more injuries, or will they be fit for the rest of the team? Liam Williams is a man with a bit of an injury niggle as well. Is his fitness up to scratch? They'll need him in this competition if they're to go very further towards the end, or, like we say, get out of their pool. It's a really, really tough situation here that one of these top teams could be out in the group stage. After all these injuries, it's either going to destroy or it's going to unite Wales to something special. We will find out over the next couple of months. What do you think about Wales? Do you think they're good enough to make it out of their pool? Who's going to miss out there? Australia? Is it between Australia and Wales? Is that the 50-50 who's going to make it to the next stage of the competition? Or is England in threat here? It's a big question mark, for these three squads. But Wales, a good team. I think, despite the injuries, it's pretty much expected as selected. Very much a homegrown team as well, with just 9 players not selected from a Welsh Pro 12 club as well, which is a big part of that as well. Experience is key, and these players have been in the Welsh setup for quite some time, most of them as well. So I'm expecting big things. I'd really love to see Wales go out of their pool instead of Australia, but I think these setbacks might just make it a bit of a step too far for Wales and their World Cup dream. I hope to be wrong though. I really would love to see Wales go up over Australia. That is my little look at the Welsh 31-man squad. Let me know what you think, whether you agree or disagree, you like this team or dislike this team, and whether you think they'll make it out of their pool. I'm interested to see what everyone thinks about that as well. But for now, that is my time done and dusted. The World Cup is not very far away at all. Almost about to kick off. Thank you for tuning and watching. Hope you all enjoy this little squad look over, and I'll see you all very soon for some more Rugby World Cup discussions. Until then, take care.